So Jason Ade, the professor from Cambridge University, has taken his life seemingly. And I'm not surprised, because if you type in the phrase Jason Ade on YouTube right now, you're just going to see a litany of attacks from the right wing, whether you're a podcast, a pundit, GB, News Talk Radio, Times Radio. They have been obsessed with this man and this story for the past week. And in reality, what they have been obsessed with is their desire for the longest time to be able to find a poster boy for their argument that black people and minority groups are essentially being given jobs when they don't deserve the jobs and we're not qualified to do so. This has been their argument for the longest period of time. And they've been obsessed with this debate and this conversation about Cambridge University, a place that very few people in the country go to. Disproportionately, most people do not go there, cannot go there. And even the people that are talking about it did not go there, couldn't have gone there, and most probably don't even know anybody that went there. But here they are talking about a story about Cambridge University, their recruitment processes, and an aspect of academia that they don't know nothing about, in the backdrop of the fact that you've got wildfires blazing down the whole of Europe, you've got rivers that are pouring down at the lowest levels in France in history, you've got Donald Trump lying here, there and everywhere, you've got Iran, you've got all of these things that are actual news, actual things that are affecting the economy, actual things that are affecting people's lives in the large swath of the majority. But hey, let's talk about a story about the recruitment processes from Cambridge University, a place that does not reflect the broad society in any capacity, because most people cannot go there and do not go there. It's an exclusive institution for very, 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 very few people. But here you are obsessed with that story, with that backdrop. No, you're obsessed with the fact that you want to dishonor all black people, and that's what you've wanted to do for the longest while. But let's just remember, we've got the President of the United States of America, for instance, that tells a litany of lies on a daily basis, but you didn't seem to be so offended by it. You don't seem to be so offended by his lies. You don't seem to be offended by the fact that his lies cause economic distress and cause disruption to individuals and their actual lives. But you're upset with this university professor that told insane lies and went on the TV and did some crazy things and earned his PhD through plagiarism, which, by the way, it is not typical in recruitment processes as far as I am concerned. When you present your certificate and your qualifications, nobody's ever asked me when I have said, here is my English degree, hey, let me read your dissertation to check that it was marked correctly. No, I'm an examiner. I mark English language papers every single year, and if I incorrectly mark a paper and that student gets a top grade, but really they should have got a 5, that is not the responsibility of the student. That falls back on the institution itself. So instead of attacking the institutions that awarded him these qualifications, because he went through the door with the correct qualifications that were awarded incorrectly, but that isn't his fault. He didn't mark his own his own PhD. He did not award it to himself. It was awarded to him. Then he went through a recruitment process, which is, in my understanding, very typical, and he went on to tell a litany of lies, and then he resigned. End of the story. Meanwhile, across the pond, the man just tells lies accordingly, creates wars, and then brings up gas prices and mashes up economies left, right, and center. But you're not interested in that. Europe is burning down, but you're not interested in that. Type in Jason Ade. Compare the amount of times that these people on GB News, Talk Radio, and all of these things have spoken systematically about this guy this past week in their obsession, and compare that with the actual news of the world. Because let me tell you something. Have you ever in your life, Polly, or wherever you might be in Lincolnshire, London, or Bristol, have you ever in your life been impacted to that degree about the admission processes of people at Cambridge University? Let me wait for the answer. No. But you are affected by economy. You are affected by the prices of things. You are affected by all of these things, but you're not interested in them. There's something there. All because you want to tell this ridiculous story to satisfy your ego that black people are actually qualified. Black people are actually intelligible, highly fabulous human beings, and when we walk into our positions, we walk in with our head held up high because we've walked there and we have not been given those things. We do not come from a legacy in this society where black people are just given things just because. It doesn't work. This individual was an outlier. Most people, white or black, are not university professors at Cambridge University. Stop using Jason Ade as some kind of poster boy for whatever kind of agenda that you're trying to put in your racism of who you are. Tell the truth and shame the devil, but don't run up and down and try to shame the devil till you send this boy to his deathbed, because nobody should be a liar. That means that they should become, you are a liar. He was a liar person with clear mental health issues, because that kind of lies that he told could not have been normal for anybody to tell. There was no duty of care applied. Nobody came out to support the man. Nobody asked a question. All he was obsessed with was telling a story about DEI to satisfy your ego. Just because you did not get the job, it is not a reflection of the fact that that other person was weaker than you. It's because they was better than you. How about that? Because when I've walked in as a black person and I've taken my positions, I've taken it from a place of integrity, intelligence, and fabulosity. And if you have not come in there with those things and I have come in better than you, don't put me on a platform of DEI, your alter order. These people are rude, and what they need to do is take some responsibility in the fact that last week they obsessed over a man of something that didn't affect the society, doesn't affect the society in any kind of meaningful way. In your obsession to tell us this story is to tell us the story of DEI. DEI what? DEI what? Because if there was any kind of DEI up in here, you don't think that we would have higher in our life? Black people would be way higher in our life. But you're so obsessed with that story till you kill the man. I mean, I said so, I mean, I stop.